Hello YouTube, it's BirdOPrey5 and it's April Fool's Day 2019. And I would love to be putting out a fake April Fool's video. I brainstormed the best characters in Star Trek, and they'd be all Discovery characters or the hottest hunks of Starfleet. But I did not want to do that as much as you guys might have liked it. But the problem with April Fool's videos is that everybody expects them these days. It's the same issue with my web forum. I've been running it for 10 plus years, and in the beginning it was fun because people, they didn't realize it was April Fool's Day and you got them. But since social media has gotten so big, every company, everyone, even Google, everybody's expecting, oh, what are you going to do for April Fool's Day? It's gotten too commercial. Okay? It's ruined the holiday, the spirit, the prank. When you woke up and you didn't realize it was April 1st, and you opened a newspaper and there were 10 real news articles and one ridiculous one, you're like, oh, well, this can't be true. This is ridiculous. And then you're like, oh, it's April 1st. But now, A, nobody opens a newspaper, but B, even if they did, all the articles are ridiculous. So you can't even tell. You can't even tell the real from the fake. It's a big problem. So, no, you're not going to get some fake video today. I am sorry. That said, I do think I should put out a special video. And so, I've decided to release the true history of April Fool's Day. Because some of it is documented, most of it is not. And even what is documented is only half-truths and lies spun by historians trying to keep their jobs. So, without further ado, this is BirdOPrey5 presents the true history of April Fool's Day. Now, April Fool's Day is actually a relatively recent holiday. It's not a holiday, a day, an event. We'll call it an event. And it has its origins in World War II. Specifically, 1943, North Africa, the great land of what we now call Tunisia. The British and the Germans were fighting because that's what the British and the Germans love to do. And there was this big battle. And it was in the April of 1943. And it was called the Battle of Longstop Hill. I know that's a ridiculous name. What in Africa would be called Longstop Hill? But, the British came in and they gave it a name. I mean, God knows what it was originally called. Probably something I couldn't pronounce. So Longstop Hill is fine. I'm not gonna try to find the native word for it. But basically, the Germans were occupying this hill. And the British were like, no, we need that hill. We need this hill. This hill overlooks a river, and we've got to get our ships, because, we're British. So anywhere we go, we bring our ships with us. Our ships got to get up this river, and they can't do that with these damn Nazis hanging out on this hill, swinging golf clubs and golf balls. They're hitting people in the river. It's not even safe for the locals. They can't go out and fish because people are getting nailed left and right by Nazi Third Reich golf balls. Now, you have to understand, in those days, golf ball technology hadn't advanced to the synthetic materials we have today, and they were actually made of iron and steel. So if you got hit, and they were quite pointy. So if you got hit with a Nazi golf ball in the head, not only were you a goner, it was a very, very messy affair. And it was just, after the first 300 or 400 people died by getting hit by golf balls, they were just like, you know what, we've got to do something about this damn long stop hill and the Nazis up there. So the British finished their tea and it's like, well, what can we do? And they're like, I don't know, but you know who does know? I've got this friend in Northern Ireland who knows what he's doing. And they said, yeah. They're like, yeah, okay. So they got him down. They flew him down. One of the rare times the British used their planes instead of their ships, because time was of the essence. So the great General Joseph O'Reilly Darth Zoom III lands on the battlefield, and he's like, this is what we got to do, men. We're going to fool the Germans. We're going to fool the Germans into giving us Long Stop Hill. And they're like, fool the Germans? How are we going to do that? And they're like, because it's April 20th. And April 20th is Adolf Hitler's birthday. So all the Nazis are going to be celebrating Hitler's birthday. They're going to be, partaking in beverages of an adult nature and doing other things that they probably shouldn't be doing, but the Fuhrer looks the other way this one day every year. So, okay, fine. So early in the morning of the 21st, while the Nazis all had hangovers, and too much Jägermeister, way too much Jägermeister, and they start hearing chantings, and they can't see anything, and it's because the British have perfected camouflage. Before this point, camouflage was rarely used in war, and even when it was barely effective. I mean, you have like somebody who was, in the desert. They would just literally paint the word desert over their uniform and lay on the ground and hoping nobody noticed that, the brain just sees what it wants to see. So it sees the word desert and it's like, oh, it's desert, and just keeps going, not noticing that it's actually a different color than the ground and that there's actually a rifle pointed at you. So, early camouflage, not so good, but yes, they've got the good camouflage now. So they are basically able to move almost like ninjas. I mean, silent and invisible around the Germans, who are suffering from a terrible, terrible hangover, and they're whispering, and the Germans are like getting freaked the F out. They're like, I think that might have been a bad batch of Jaeger. Okay, did somebody, who spiked the Jaeger? They're starting to wonder, and they're hearing like, long live the Queen, and fish and chips, and Mary Poppins, things like that, things British people say. So the Germans are like, they got their guns drawn. They don't know where to shoot. They don't know what to do. And that is when the British unveil their secret weapon, the Churchill tank. And this is legit. You can look it up, the Churchill tank. And the Germans are like, those stupid British with your stupid tanks. Tanks are underpowered. It's only 1943. Nobody's tank can actually go up a hill. Tanks needed flat ground. They could not go up hills yet. So they're like laughing their asses off. at the British, who were just circling around this hill at the bottom. And the Germans are like, they think we have to come down to, to eat. But no, we've got plenty of food up here. The war will be over before we ever have to come down. Plus, we've still got plenty of golf balls. So they're just still playing golf. And then, this is when they get fooled. The British tanks, instead of going in circles, all of a sudden head straight up the hill. And now the Germans are freaked out. They're like, wait, what is this? They're like, no tanks can go up a hill. But they did not know the Churchill tanks were actually the first tanks capable. Churchill tanks were the first tanks capable of actually going up a hill. So they just overrode the Nazis. They didn't even bother to shoot. They just ran them over. Many, many Nazis pushed into the ground. It was, nobody feels bad for Nazis after all, but as just a loss of human life, it was a significant event of the war. And then the Germans, thoroughly defeated, the last couple of people surrender. The British accept their surrender, and one of the German officers who spoke English says, "I don't understand. How is it you were able to make such fools of us?" And the general from Northern Ireland looks him in the eye and says, "Because it's April." And instantly, the German officer understood that had it not been for Hitler's birthday, and had it not been for the mass quantities of Jägermeister and other substances, the Germans would not have lost the Battle of Longstop Hill. And so the British brought back the term April Fools to Great Britain and all of its colonies like Canada to mean literally a German fool who loses the biggest mountain, or at least the most important mountain in Tunisia, on the day after Hitler's birthday, the 21st. And for decades, April Fool's Day is celebrated in the Commonwealth countries on April 21st, being the day after Hitler's birthday. However, the story does not yet end. As it spreads to more English-speaking nations, and it starts to mix with, the culture of the United States of America, at this point, the first and only real superpower in the world, there's an issue. Okay? Because in America, now 20, 30 years post-World War II, by the time this comes into the 70s now, and April 20th, nobody remembers it as Hitler's birthday, but as 420. And it becomes a day for stoners and potheads, hippies, and all different types that all bow to the altar of the weed. And the British, they did not want their glorious holiday to be co-opted in this manner. So Queen Elizabeth uses her queen powers and proclaims that we will move April Fool's Day from April 21st to April 1st, so that it no longer comes after the big weed fest in the United States. And ever since that day in 1978, Queen Elizabeth declared April Fool's Day to be April 1st from that day forward. And so it has been, and so it is observed on today, April 1st, as April Fool's Day. And the true meaning, of course, is don't celebrate Hitler's birthday. Okay, that's the true meaning of April Fool's Day. Because if you do, you're a fool. And this has been Real History with BirdOPrey5. Qapla. Thank you all for watching my video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. If you want to visit me, check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. And if you're really crazy, you can send me some money on PayPal. Take care.